Hello everyone, and welcome to Turkish series stars. Today's video has every beat, every whisper, and every unanswered question wrapped into one dramatic ride. If you enjoy it, tap like and subscribe, and if you want to go the extra mile, the join button is right below. Thanks for tuning in, let's begin. Just when the Turkish spotlight seemed to dim for a moment, a quiet phrase from Demet upended the calm. One short post, minimal in words but huge in meaning, sent ripples through timelines and turned a regular day into a feverish night of speculation. With the elegance of a black and white portrait, her face unguarded, serene, and sure of itself, Demet dropped a line that felt more like a confession than a caption. Love isn't proved by fireworks, it's something you truly live. The internet didn't take it as a simple proverb. It felt like a lightning bolt touching ground. Why such a reaction? Because, a blink earlier, another image had gone viral, Sara beside Yaman, cozy and glowing. The photograph was sweet, affectionate, and hard to ignore. Sara's smile caught the light, a ring flashed, and held her like a promise. For fans, it looked like a scene from a dream. For the conversation that followed, it became the spark. Demet's words arrived like a feather that weighed a ton, floating into the exact place everyone had been staring. Was it a coincidence, or a reply cleverly disguised as a universal truth? People close to Demet swear she had been biting back for months, choosing silence over noise. They say the actress values the privacy that fame tries to steal. To her, love isn't a shoot or a pose, it's the moments no one sees. And yet, anyone who knows her felt that Sara and Can's glossy photo had pressed an old bruise. Demet's sentence, calm as it looked, read like a line drawn in the sand. Not a call out, but a mirror. Studios turned their lights red for breaking talk. On entertainment panels, voices clashed. Some cheered for Sara's freedom to celebrate life. If she's happy, why hide it? Others raised a glass to Demet's measured dignity, noting how she's navigated storms without naming names. One critic on a late-night program cut the air with a cold summary. Demet reflects depth and restraint, Sara leans into spectacle and shine. The timing of that post isn't random, take it as a signal. The line was harsh, and it stuck. And in the middle of everything, there was him, Yaman. Everyone waited for a statement, a gesture, something that could tilt the scale. Instead, Can offered a polite vacuum. At a fan meeting in Italy, under the clamor of camera clicks and cheers, he spoke carefully. People handle love differently, and he's guided by what he feels in the moment. Not quite a declaration, not quite a dodge. Just enough to be read in every possible way. The fandom split its interpretation down the center. Was he extending grace to Demet, or protecting what he has with Sara? Then came a post from Can that said almost nothing and somehow said too much, a silhouette of a man standing before the water, captioned with a single word, quiet. The photograph was all mood, all restraint. The comments section became a battlefield fought with heart emojis and paragraphs. Some swore the sea was not just the sea, it was memory, it was Demet, it was the place you go to remember what used to be. Others argued it was a peaceful nod to his present, to Sara, to steadiness. And you, watching here on Turkish series stars, what do you read in that horizon? If that had been the end of it, the night might have cooled. But the evening stretched its claws. A few hours after Demet's reflective note, Sara uploaded her own moment, a photo in a crimson haute couture dress at a high-end restaurant, every detail screaming celebration. On her hand sparkled the stone everyone had already noticed. The caption was short, pointed, and impossible to ignore. Some fall for the show, not the heart. Was it a jab? A coincidence? A wink? Social media didn't hesitate. Timelines turned into tribunals. Comments boiled down to a chorus with two parts. Demet speaks in poetry, Sara speaks in actions. And, more bluntly, this stopped looking like love and started sounding like a hush-hush war made of pictures. Close to Sara, insiders say the model is worn out by the constant comparisons and the ghosts of a history she didn't write. When Demet's name comes up, they claim, the temperature in the room changes. Can, whom she loves, stands in the crosswind, and Sara does not enjoy living in a shadow that doesn't belong to her. A Fashion World source framed it with precision. Sara wants to exist as Can's here and now, not as an echo answering a past that refuses to dim. For Can, the situation is a tightrope strung over a canyon. People near his team insist he dislikes the indirects, the sly captions, the reading between. He understands, they say, that every angle drags him into the frame. He wants calm, what he gets is interpretation. And when he keeps quiet to avoid adding fuel, silence is read as allegiance, as approval, as a nod that he never meant to give. Work hasn't helped him hide. He remains in Italy filming a commercial, a set swarmed by paparazzi who know the power of a raised eyebrow. When someone yelled a question about Demet's post, he smiled, a small, disarming smile, arched one brow, and stepped away without a syllable. That tiny expression was played in slow motion 1,000 times across 1,000 accounts, each one assigning its own meaning. Before dawn, while many were still refreshing, Demet posted again, a photo of an open book resting on a table, the light soft and hopeful, and a line written with delicate tenderness, some chapters end, but what they stir inside doesn't simply fade. Within minutes, the numbers shot up into the hundreds of thousands. The comments were a sea. The sentiments, as always, split. One said the ring might sit with Sara, but the soul of the story belonged to Demet. Another argued that you can't reboot a heart like a phone, no matter how much you try to start over. Whatever the truth, Demet once again took the conversation without raising her voice. That's the paradox people love about her. She is both a storm and still water. Even in her most vulnerable posts, she remains composed, authentic, and somehow out of reach. Sara, meanwhile, brings fire and shine, a purposeful glamour that refuses to apologize for wanting a big life and a louder love. And Can, there he is, caught between the soft pull of what was and the gold light of what might be, between memory and promise. Behind all of these images lies a very human tangle. Love under a microscope rarely looks like love. It looks like misread captions, guesses made from a single photo, glances that last 1 second repeated until they become essays. And yet, the feelings are stubborn. Demet seems to be saying that genuine affection survives the silence between posts. Sara's voice declares that happiness deserves to be celebrated in color. Can keeps trying to walk without making noise, even though every step echoes. In the talk shows, every nuance is dissected. One evening, a commentator said Demet carries her heart like a secret garden, while Sara walks under lights by choice, not by accident. Another suggested that Can's careful words were a nod to both women. A truce of sorts, an attempt to avoid ripping open any old scars while honoring the person standing beside him now. Those who love him see a man trying not to break anyone. Those who criticize see a star who needs to draw a line and choose. But perhaps the most striking moment of these days is something simpler, the way fans respond. Some write long, aching messages to Demet about how love isn't always loud, and how silence can be a sanctuary. Others shout encouragement to Sara for refusing to be diminished by a past she didn't participate in. And everywhere, there's a thread of tenderness toward Can, who is still the boy from the screen, no matter how many suits he wears or flights he takes. It is easy to forget that behind the staging are 3 hearts beating in real time. Demet, with her wisdom and poise, might not want to be anyone's symbol, just a woman who prefers reality over glitter. Sara, proud and dazzling, might not want to be anyone's villain, just a partner asking not to be compared to a ghost. And Can, charismatic and careful, might not want to be anyone's battleground, just a man trying to listen to what he feels and stay decent while doing so. And you, watching this on Turkish series stars, whose side do you understand? Is Can's hush a soft admission that some loves never really vanish? Or is it simply the most respectful choice in a moment where any word could cut? Tell us in the comments, share your take, and don't forget to hit like. Because in a story like this, every perspective reveals another facet of the same diamond. The morning after the posts, the industry didn't slow down. Journalists parsed timestamps, Fans compared filters, and every frame became a clue. Someone noticed that Demet's page carried a peaceful rhythm of books, windows, daylight, while Sara's feed painted nights of sparkle and applause. Someone else said it wasn't about who felt more or who showed more, it was about different languages of love trying to be understood in a world that speaks in headlines. We circle back to the first image, Demet's calm portrait and her quiet creed. It resonated because it sounded like a truth she learned the hard way. In her career and her life, she has earned the right to speak gently. We circle back to Sara in red, luminescent, declaring that love is not an act, and that she refuses to be cast as a supporting player in her own story. And we circle back to Can Before the Sea, a single word under a wide sky, offering nothing and everything at once. Maybe the lesson here isn't about who is right or wrong. Maybe it's about how love evolves when watched by millions, how the heart clings to old songs even as it tries to compose new music. Demet's grace keeps people believing in depth. Sara's radiance keeps people believing in joy. Can's restraint keeps people believing that kindness still exists, even in chaos. So, what happens next? The cameras will keep clicking. The shows will keep debating. The comments will keep arriving like tides. But beneath all of that, there are three people moving through days and nights, doing the best they can with the feelings they've got. Perhaps that is what Demet meant, the most real love is not a performance, it's the moments that leave a mark on the soul. Perhaps that is what Sara meant, happiness should be celebrated, not hidden. And perhaps that is what Can meant, the heart speaks in its own time. We'll continue watching, analyzing, questioning, and caring, because that's what we do here on Turkish series Stars. Add your voice below, does silence protect, or does it confess? Does a caption heal, or does it harm? If you want to stay on top of every ripple in this saga, subscribe and tap join so you never miss a single twist. This isn't just a headline, it's a living story of three people who, even without naming one another, keep conversing in symbols. And in that quiet conversation, Demet Özdemir has once more whispered a reminder that outlasts the trend cycle, love that's real doesn't need costumes. It's lived, it's felt, and it leaves an imprint you can't edit away. Thank you for watching Turkish series Stars. Until next time, take care and goodbye.